Ed, excuse me, Eddie will now read John's homily.
In these troubled times of great worries, how wonderful that Paul and our wonderful Father John exclaims how we should have joy. Paul writes of joy to his beloved Thessalonians. Rejoice, he says. Again, I say rejoice. Show everyone how my joy frees everyone to be unselfish. Not only are we called to be generous, but also in being generous, joy releases creative spirituality. Joy is a liberating principle of Christian conscience. As in Zephaniah's proclamation, that joy arises from knowing God is in our midst. Take heart, the prophet says, and be glad. Rejoice, because God rejoices, and God sings with gladness because of you. It is the Creator at one with all the elements of nature, rejoicing in the evolution of life. Joy has a metaphysical grounding. It is rooted in the soil of God's own rejoicing. As such, joy has staying power. It is able to stop the primeval ache that slows our crippling efforts to redirect our memories of Eden and our falling out of the Garden of Delights. As we deepen in Advent spirituality, it becomes increasingly clear that this brief liturgical season is inexorably connected to history's final birthing by way of the new creation in the advent of Jesus the Christ. Simultaneously, history is understood to be time's unfolding of creation's evolution in the new age of messianic justice. Listening to the Baptist strong admonition for a turn of heart in order to withstand the messianic judgment already in hand, the crowds ask, what are we to do? And John addresses different classes among them: public officials, civil servants, militia. John's answer is essentially the same for each. Share your resources. Be just. Find contentment. John's answer is no different for us. Conversion is the turnaround. This is when the great work begins, carrying us forward and more deeply into the healing justice of equality. We see that the nature of joy has an evangelical ability to change the course of history, our own, as well as worldly events and consequences. More especially, considering the notion of virtue, which is little spoken in our time, we see that virtue has to do with worth and value, along with the strength to support tasks of character. The word virtue is the Roman translation of the Greek arete, which translates into excellence. Excellence is such as Advent, vigilance, patience, joy, tenderness. Each has the specific capacity or power to sustain particular values that contribute to the making of character. And as such, human virtues speak of moral values. Rejoice then, writes St. Paul. Let joy free you to be generous and to see how your life is generated by generosity. In so being, rejoice in knowing that generosity distinguishes your Christian demeanor. How then to respond to Advent joy? Except to be grateful. We welcome the communal breath of joy emerging as a child's innocence, whose simplicity magnifies the joy in our illumined hearts. Amen.